Welcome back to another episode of Critical Affection, where we affectionately criticize pop culture that we love. And I'm your host, Sarah. And there's my other co-host, Amanda. And there's my other co-host, Fred. And there's my other co-host, Fish,
Fish.
who's also here to talk about his awesome new Kickstarter campaign. And he had us watch Darkman, which
Yes, he did.
I think at least
I will
30,
accept your thank yous and
6% of
flowers
us had
or
fun with it.
or chocolate.
I don't know.
whatever you
It's the
feel.
whole thing. So before we talk about Darkman, we do need to I need to find the right tab. And then we need to talk about Roll for Hero because it's really fun and we need to know more about it.
Yes, we do.
Okay, so for those of you who have been living in a cave and aren't available Wednesdays at 3:30 Eastern, 2:30 Central, we've been doing this show Roll for Hero for quite a while now. And every week we roll up random prompts and we create brand new heroes, villains, monsters, maniacs, aliens, all kinds of stuff each week. And we ended up creating the Roll for Hero handbook to go along with it that has all of the charts and tables that you need, give you a six-sided dice and some creativity, and you can come up with all kinds of crazy monsters and aliens and things out of the book. And so we're doing the Kickstarter so you can get the Roll for Hero handbook, but we are also doing a mini comic that we are actively in the process of making right now. We are doing 3 live streams a week, which is doing wonders for my singing voice. And we've started since the beginning of the campaign. We've already done like 3 episodes of just character creation. Right now, today, this morning, we finished our last one on character creation. And there's a poll up as a backers only update right now. So if you've backed the campaign for even the digital level at $5, you can go vote on that update as to which characters are going to be in the mini comic. And then we are going to write the script together on live stream, and we are going to lay out and pencil and letter and ink the pages. We are going to print and bind and trim and pack and ship the books. Everything is going to be done on live stream. So if you've ever wanted to learn about the process, if you've ever had questions, now's the time to jump in and ask them. If you wanted to be a part of creating awesome characters, you might have missed that chance because we've already done that because we don't waste time over here. But it has been a lot of fun. That is not the comic, but that was a placeholder. It's one that I want to do soon. But the characters that we have created on the live streams are freaking amazing. They have come out really cool. It's really exciting. There's actually images of them if you scroll further down. Here we've got images of the different characters that we designed. D an Alien is like an alien lizard private eye. He's like a street level dude, but if he touches you, he can absorb your DNA and become you. He turns into you, gets your powers and stuff. Really great way for a master of disguise to sneak around and stuff when you can just look like anybody. Emerald Phantom is the one that I rolled up today that is got a really cool tie with one of the villains, and they were both part of this archaeological expedition when they were kids. Their parents were on this dig, found this ancient temple. There was a big calamity, destruction, all this stuff, and her friend got struck with this lightning bolt trying to protect her and got cursed for life. And so she spent her life studying with the ancient mystics of the jungle around there, trying to learn how to help her friend that got cursed, saving her life. Another character is Rubber Hose, who is a kid that got superpowers of elasticity and gravity control and energy absorption. And he is a hero in training and is really goofy and silly with his powers, which is where the Rubber Hose came from, like the Rubber Hose animation of old cartoons and stuff. Lots of cool stuff. We've got this cult leader villain, Lord Asunder, that is really freaking awesome, that I'm super excited about, who started this cult, who's trying to release this ancient evil, and he's the one that found the ancient temple. And when he was making a deal with this cosmic entity, it caused the temple to fall, and that's when Hexflame got cursed with all these abilities and stuff. And it's just, we came up with such cool ideas. It's so much fun. And it's all stuff that we just randomly rolled up out of the Roll for Hero handbook and then tried to figure out how to make those pieces fit together. And we came up with a bunch of cool characters. And now, if you back the campaign, you get to vote on which ones the book's going to be about. And I'm hoping for Emerald Phantom and Hexflame, but I'm not in charge. So whatever y'all vote is going to be what we do.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds really fun. I backed and I was not able to see any of the backers only streams because somebody keeps doing them when I'm unavailable. So
well, I've tried. We did one. We set them so far at Monday morning, Wednesday afternoon, and Friday evening, hoping that would get everybody a chance to get in there. We even had
more of a I'm unavailable thing than it is of a you aren't trying to accommodate thing.
Even had Big Tim from Australia tune in on Friday night.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
if night ends up being a better time to do it, we may move them all tonight. I just wanted to try and give everybody a chance to get in around their schedules. We had a couple of people on this morning, and some of them were at work listening, trying not to get caught. So
Well, don't think I didn't try to do that too. I was like, I just want to be in one of them, and no, it was too busy at work. It was too busy.
yeah, it happens. I totally understand. And like I said, I'm open to moving the times around to whatever works. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. And that's the thing. I want everybody to get to take part in the fun. And we're going to be writing this story together, figuring out all the nooks and crannies and how we're going to fit it into how many pages and all that stuff. And then laying it out, breaking it down into what's going to be on what page and doing the lettering and the penciling and the inking and the whole 9 yards. I'm even looking forward to actually doing the printing and answering questions about that because I really enjoy that part. That's really fun to me.
Nice.
But anyway,
Is that a thing that we should be putting up on the stream here for you, Brian?
No, his boss doesn't watch, surely. I
don't want to brag, but like sometimes tens of people tune into this, so
I have
We occasionally break double digits.
because they had the audacity to say like, "Oh, my manager is looking over my shoulder right now watching." And I'm like, "What's up, manager? You need to subscribe. YouTube, check it out."
All right.
See, dog knows what's up. He's excited.
Yeah.
We got all kinds of rewards. We got the digital, we got the physical. You can get one or the other if you're interested in the handbook or the mini comic. We've got them all together. And then we've got bundle packs that have things like sets of dice and the drawing pad that has like all kinds of different character sheets in it with different body types and stuff on it. And then, when you tear that one off, you've got like action poses of figures and stuff that you can draw over with your character, and then tear that one off. And you've got a different style of character on there with character sheets and all the attributes that you're going to roll up right here. You got nice, neat little places to put it. And so that's a 50 sheet drawing pad. Well, it used to be a 50 sheet drawing with 25 original images on it. So there's lots of cool character sheets. When we hit $2,000, we're going to split it into two 50-page drawing pads, and you'll get one that's just characters and one that is just character sheets. And so it's going to be cool. And then the next stretch goal, if we hit it, is going to be making those spiral bound.
Nice. I'm gonna have to go back and check to make sure that I got like all the good stuff in my pledge because I'm not sure I did. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you get a set of dice with that and the whole 9 yards, so you can just open it and play.
I think Brian. I think you might have a backer from Brian for some dice. I do like that's a really cool workbook. Like that's not just for people who want to get better at art, like anybody who just needs to design their character. Because think of it from like when you're trying to give you're trying to give directions to your artist, or you're the artist trying to receive directions, and they don't want to ever draw anything for you because they're like, I'm a bad drawer, and that's why I hired you. And it's like, no, even if it's a stick figure, it's better than than just trying to describe it in words. But like, think of how that would help with, just like, show me what you want on the
It's
model
a
here.
lot easier to like sketch out a costume, even if you're not an artist, when there's already a body to draw it over.
Yes,
And the
yes.
bodies are all in, a light blue line, so it's easy to draw over it in pencil or ink or whatever, and make your image stand out and color over it and stuff. There's a gif of the going through a bunch of the pages somewhere on here, down a little lower,
I saw
I
it up
think.
here somewhere. Ah, there it
There
is.
it is. And you can see all the different body types and shapes and stuff, and muscular and skinny and fat and all kinds of things in there.
Nice.
Uh,
And their fighting pose.
oh yeah,
Yeah, that looks great.
yeah.
You're
There's
going,
there's some really
I'm
cool
trying
stuff.
to get better at drawing, like how that would be super useful. Yeah,
Mhm.
as both a comic creator trying to dictate instructions to artists, and as somebody who's trying to get better at drawing.
Mhm.
Very nice, very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of
And
fun.
like,
I had a good
you've
time.
got merch that's totally outside of your, like, there's a T-shirt, y'all.
Mhm.
That's a nice T-shirt. I'd wear that shirt.
Yeah.
I have to stop buying so many damn T-shirts because now I've got this stupid job where you can't wear T-shirts, and
Oh,
I've got 10,000 T-shirts and nowhere to wear them.
that would kill me. I
I know.
pretty much only wear my own swag now because I make new shirts every time I do a campaign, and I make one for me, and so now I have all my own shirts. I mean, this sweatshirt is a Mr. Fish Comics branded sweatshirt that I'm wearing. Has my face real big on the back of it. My wife loves
Nice.
going out into town with me with this sweatshirt on because I
I bet
usually have
she
my
does.
face on my T-shirt at the same time too. So she's like, "Can there be any more of you right now?" This is really cool. You are never going to get me to design a character this cheap, but for either 75 or $100 tier, you get to actually come on the show, hang out with us, and we are going to roll up a character live, and you get to keep that character. So not only do you get the artwork for it, but you get to keep it and use it, do whatever you want with it. So, you get to have a hand in steering what the character is actually going to be. It's not going to just be what I have fun coming up with, but like, Fred can say, okay, well, if this is the prompts we got, then I want it to be this. And, and help me with the design and stuff. And then you get either a digital pinup or an actual like glossy poster to go along with all the physical swag. And that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty good deal.
Yeah, it is. Nice.
And we've got it with me and with Esteban, so you can pick who you want to draw it, and it's going to be a good time.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Those sold out way quicker than I was expecting them to.
Really?
You should have expected it.
yeah.
I was.
I don't think that I don't think you appreciate how popular you are in the comics world. And to be fair, I didn't know of Esteban until after you guys started doing your show together. But now I'm like, yeah, if he's not already really well known, he should be.
Oh man, he's got the charisma and he's got the salesmanship. Man, he went to his first con with me because we were doing a live Roll for Hero, which is why I originally like got the comic books, the handbooks made, so I could take them to that con and we could give them out to kids. And watching him hone his pitch over like an hour and get it to a razor sharp edge. He freaking sold out of all of his Ashcan mini comics that he had there. Man, he cleaned up at that show. It was really exciting to see. But we got some stretch goals. We'll definitely hit the first one for sure. I'm hoping that we could get down a little further because I really want to do that Space Ape comic. I've really been wanting to do this Space Ape comic for a while. I just need an excuse to do it. But I really, really, really want to do it. So I'm hoping we can get there in time.
Everybody all the comic creators who are doing updates, just make sure you put Roll for Hero in your updates.
That'd be nice. I would sure appreciate that.
I want to see a Space Ape comic too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I
Me
kind
too.
of like, I'm sitting here going, I sure would like that spiral bound notepad, though. That would make it easier to use.
Oh man, just flip to the one you want exactly, and at
Yeah.
that
Mhm.
point, you'll
Then you
have a
don't
whole
lose
page of
them.
character sheets, and like good figures to draw on, and then a whole pad of just action scenes. And I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
draw some more action scenes and characters and stuff, so there's lots of variety. But I'm telling you, a green gorilla in a mask in outer space, flying in like a '60s hot rod rocket with a single-celled sexy mechanic and a murder bot designed to kill that can't kill anymore, and he's trying to reform, so it just sits there fussing at you the whole time, really angry that it can't disassemble humans anymore, and now it has to try and put them back together. What's not to love? This is an awkward buddy comedy just waiting to happen, man. Come on. Come on.
100%.
We can all throw a
That's
little money at
amazing.
that. Let's
Yes.
go.
All right. Unrelated, but Kyron, what's your first favorite show on Wednesdays? Because I can think of 3. Kyron said Roll for Hero is his second favorite show on Wednesday. And I'm trying to think of what the first favorite is, because I can think of a couple.
5-star?
It's got to be 5-star, right? What, does Mike still stream on Wednesdays? Because Mike's show is pretty cool too.
I don't know. The last I saw, I thought Mike got kind of pretty like all over the place when he did it, like all over the week. But
Oh yeah, that's fair.
I so
I
wish
know.
I could have. I wish I had thought of the name Chat and Draw before he did. Man, that was a brilliant name.
I don't know. Schoolfish is pretty good too.
Yeah, yeah. And I've thought about going back to doing some Just School of Fish episodes outside of Roll for Hero, which was really beautiful kismet, because I've told you I've been wanting to do this show for a long time, where because I was already doing it on School of Fish. Like, we would randomly roll up prompts and I would draw new characters all the time, or work on comic pages and talk about the process and stuff. But I was mostly rolling up random characters, and I wanted to find people to do it with me and like bring on people, and all of us take a shot at drawing the same prompt and see what we came up with. And then I was just chatting with Esteban and found out that he was about to start a series of doing the exact same thing. And I was like, hey, how about we team up on this? And he was just ADD enough to jump in with me and do it. And it's been beautiful chaos ever since, and it's been a whole lot of fun. And the best part of my Wednesday is getting behind the scenes like a half hour early, and he's already back there, like just kind of bouncing in his seat, super excited, and like running around his apartment, like, oh, I gotta get a snack, oh, I gotta do this, because he's so excited about the show. And you can hear it in his voice on the show, because sometimes he'll get super excited, start rambling really quick, because he gets so excited about it, because we have so much fun, and you never know what we're going to create. And every once in a while, it's not a home run, but we still have fun playing nonetheless. There's only been one character so far that I rolled up personally on my own time that I couldn't quite crack the idea. And I just don't think there's a way to, because
Challenge.
unfortunately,
Talent.
everything keeps coming out kind of racist, and I'm not going to do that.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gotta spin it. Gotta spin it.
Fun.
Yep. Okay, well, I put the link in the comments on YouTube and on Facebook. I remember to put it on Facebook today. Go me. And so go look at that. And it's gomrfish.com too, right? That'll take you right to it.
Nice and easy.
Yeah.
Gomrfish.com.
Gomrfish.com. All right. So before we talk about Darkman, Fred has one that he wants to talk about real quick.
Yeah. So currently on Kickstarter is an anthology that I'm lucky enough to be a part of. This is my first short story in an anthology. This is called Vagabond Nowhere Man. It's a project by Charlie McKelvey. It's basically it's about this. It's a loosely connected anthology centered around a character, an immortal character who's been around since like 10,000 BCE. He is kind of like supernaturally drawn to like historic events, which gives us all kind of like the ability to kind of like choose where we want to place him in history and kind of do our own spin on the stories. So yeah, I think there's something like 14 or so teams in this book. If you scroll down, you can, I don't want to get into start listing all the people, but it's like something like that. Maybe
Charlie's
I'm
nothing
exaggerating a
is
bit.
not ambitious, though, right?
For sure. I mean, tons of people, and Stan and I get to team up again. This is me and Stan working together. Yeah, I finally get to complete a lifelong ambition of getting to do a Vlad the Impaler story. So it's grim and it's gritty, and I think you guys are all going to really like it. So yeah, there's a list of all the creators. Is it 14 or so? It's pretty close. But yeah, lots of great people there. Ron Mars, Scott Fogg, Sean Wood, Travis, Stan, as I mentioned. Just tons of wonderful people. So if you guys get a chance, please take a look, support the project, and support us. Check out our story is called Immortal, so check it out.
I have one question about this, and it's actually directed more towards Charlie. So, Charlie, if you're watching, where the hell was my invite, man? Right? That's what I want to know. What the hell, dude? We're friends. Come on. I'm insulted, man. You bring in Fred and everybody else I know, but all right. I see how it is. That's all.
He was probably being charitable since this is my first one.
We'll have to clip that segment there and then put it up as like a direct call out to Charlie. Sorry, dude.
100%.
You brought this on yourself, Charlie. All right. Well, you definitely have to make sure that you go yell at him after the show is done so that you can get in on the next issue, because that can't happen twice.
Right. Yeah, you should definitely be in there, Fish. Fish is amazing. We have our collab coming up too soon. So yeah, looking forward to that. So yeah, that'll be another one right now. But for now, yeah, this is my first anthology gig. So yeah, check it out and support.
All right. Yeah, the links for that is in the comments on Facebook and YouTube again. Twice in a row. Look at me.
Hey.
So, all right. Now that we've gotten that all out of the way, let's talk about Darkman. I had a lot of fun watching this. I know not everybody would agree. I think almost everybody here is going to agree with me. It's a fun movie to watch.
Oh, I loved it.
I don't know. I'm seeing some inscrutable faces looking back at me right now, so I'm not sure. But I had a lot of fun watching it.
Oh man, I had so much fun. I fell in love with this movie when it came out when I was in high school, and I just dearly loved it for multiple reasons. I loved that. Like after Batman, they were trying something different. They was still in the same kind of vein, but it wasn't Batman or the Shadow or Dick Tracy. It was something new, a new idea, a new problem. It may still be in a trench coat, but it's something new. It was the 90s. Everything had to be in a trench coat. So that's just a given. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely loved it. I love the mix of horror and, superhero. I've always dug that. And I liked the playing around with him going insane and the surgery causing, not being able to feel pain and giving him super strength and stuff with the adrenaline. And I just, I loved it. I loved it. And I really loved the character of Durant. Like, I love the fact that they took the, mentally challenged dude from, LA Law that I knew and loved so well as this sweet, big, dopey dude that, never meant anybody any harm, and turned him into a legitimately scary bad guy, which was kind of hard to swallow at first. The first time I left the theater, I was like, I just don't know that I buy him as a bad guy. But at this point in my life, I have seen him as Durant so many more times than I ever saw him in LA Law growing up. So now I have it stamped on my brain that, that he is a scary dude. And I really like him as a scary villain. What?
You made us watch Darkman? I don't know.
I've been doing all kinds of stuff. That might be what I did.
I first saw that actor and Jeffrey pointed this out to me earlier because I didn't make the connection, but I first saw him in Firefly. He was not exactly a bad guy. He's just kind of a guy who facilitates a deal with Mal. And he actually, I thought he was kind of a interesting character, very, very minor character, but like interesting all the same. He wanted to do business with Mal, shipping stuff. And then Mal accidentally gets himself into a sword fight, a duel. and then he
As you do.
offers this guy, this actor offers to be his, like, to fight in his place, which I thought was like, oh, that means he must have some confidence in his sword skills, because Mal certainly didn't have any, as we learn later on in the episode. Spoilers for a 20-year-old show. Yeah. So I didn't know him. I have not watched a lot of LA Law. So
Yeah,
I didn't
well,
know that
it
one.
was a little early for you, but I watched it because that was go-to TV back in the 80s,
Mhm.
and I liked him as a character. I liked him having a main character on the show that was mentally challenged and not showing him in. I mean, if you go back and look at it now, there's probably a reason LA Law is not in repeats on rerun shows. Like, it probably didn't age very well. I don't know. I haven't come back to rewatch it, but at the time, it was nice seeing him being portrayed on there. I honestly thought the dude was mentally challenged until I saw Darkman and realized that they didn't find an actor to fit the role. He was just playing a role, and so that was a surprise to me. But I think at this point, like by the time he got to Firefly, I think he'd been playing enough villains in B movies and stuff that was more what he was known for at that point.
Yeah, probably. I was looking up him, and like, obviously we know a lot about what Liam Neeson's done. in the
He's done
recent
one or
years,
two
but,
things since then.
what's
Family
his name?
Anderson.
Larry Drake is the name of that actor, and he passed away like 10 years ago.
Mhm.
He had blood cancer, it looks like. And
That makes me
that
sad.
was, yeah, I know. I was like, oh, let's find more of what he acted in, and then I get to the Wikipedia page first, obviously, and I was like, oh no, it says his birth date and his death date. That sucks.
Mm.
But he's in a lot of stuff, so there's plenty to go look for. And he actually was in a movie the year that he passed away, so I've never heard of it, but that's okay. Wes,
cool.
yes, Firefly is that Joss Whedon show. And Kevin says 4 amazing people tonight. Awesome. Where are
I
they?
actually got my wife to watch Firefly with me because ever since we met, she's had a Firefly T-shirt that she just got in a like box of the month kind of thing and had no idea what it was, but it was one of her like pajama T-shirts that she wore, and I got all excited when I saw it because I was like, "Oh, that's my favorite show!" And she had no idea what it was, so I made her watch it, and she actually fell in love with it, which gives me
Really?
hope that I could convince her to actually give some of my other things a try. She would not even look up from Darkman until it got into the really Sam Raimi parts. And then she's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "If you'd looked up from the beginning, it would make more sense. But, if you look up now, it looks like nonsense to everybody. But if you've been here from the beginning, you know how we got here."
So the very first thing that I Googled after as the actual movie was, can a cigar cutter actually cut off a human finger?
What did it say?
It says it can cut a human finger. It cannot cut off an adult human finger. It cannot amputate it. So I was like, I'm pretty sure, like, maybe you could,
place.
yeah, like you could do it once, and then never again, because that's gonna fuck up your blade, right? And then it won't be good for cigars anymore. So a cigar purist would never do that to his cutter. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to go back and cut a cigar without that thing being thoroughly cleaned, and I don't trust any of those hahoos to clean it for me. So like that, I would have a separate device for that, but you would have to get so far down. I mean, you'd have to get further than the skin's going to let you get down to even get to a knuckle to try and get between the bones. That's just not a real effective way of doing it. You would need, more like a hedge trimmer, something.
Last time I used to like to smack my wife on the butt and said I just like smacking him, to quote Jane Cobb. And then she saw the episode and has been furious with me ever since because he just likes smacking cows. And you're still married though, so like she must not be that mad, right?
He's going to be feeling that one for a while.
Oh my God. I love if my wife knew where some of the quotes I use when I'm messing around with her came from, I would be in so much trouble.
Brian says Sam Raimi is an adjective, and yes, it absolutely is now. Oh, and of course, like these are the times that we start to worry a little bit about Brian.
Well, at this point, it's just a physics question. You know,
Well, yeah, I mean, like it's not that you can't. It's
it
just
could be
more that
trimming off,
you.
the knuckle bones on chicken legs.
Brian's so focused on whether or not he could that he didn't stop to think about whether or not he should.
I went through 10 people's hands before I finally figured out.
Well, that's why I'm
should I
looking
be doing this?
Bro, like, dude chops off the beginning. He chops off the other guy's one finger, and then he like slides it onto the next finger. I was like, there is no fucking way that
Correct.
knife blade is going to cut through a second finger. I'm shocked that you got it through the first. And they don't really show it. They cut away right at the last second, don't they?
Yeah, they do. Because they knew how improbable that would be.
That was what your wife. You said your wife wasn't really looking, and that same thing for me. And then Jeffrey looks over at the screen right when he whips up the finger collection, and we're both laughing at it. And he probably appreciated it a little more than your wife, because I feel like your wife is a little more mature than we all are. So.
Oh man! Oh, there.
I don't know.
I was like, man, dude has to have serious grip strength to be able to just with that little thing and get through the bone. That's impressive.
How does he keep them from getting stinky? Because like those were all like obviously very purple and bloaty, like they were rotting, but also they weren't gross. So this is.
They weren't, like,
I should ask Caitlin Doty that question. Yeah, I don't want to know all your hobbies, Brian. I don't. That's Amanda's problem.
My first thought would be drying them out, but then they would be smaller.
Mummify them?
Stuff.
Yeah, because they were like bloaty and like this, and some of them still had the rings on, and they were like on there firmly. Like,
yeah.
It's a shame because I was just gonna say it's a shame because the rest of the movie science was so sound that they should have gotten this bit right.
I think Amanda has something to talk about on that. Yeah.
Yes, I do.
I do have the picture ready for you too.
Sweet.
And this is something that I think Fred can appreciate, because we were talking about this with the Shark Hurricane movie. They lay out in the first scene very clearly what kind of movie this is going to be. And, the dude has on one leg while the other dude's using his leg as a machine gun. And one of my problems, but I got to talk about it now in this scene, is I want to know who was keystering this other gun that they suddenly pulled out. Because all of a sudden, Durant's, sidekick suddenly has this like Desert Eagle to hand to him to start shooting to people. And I'm like, they got felt up really good and got all of their weapons and all of their brass knuckles and nunchucks and stuff, which I know from experience are hard to conceal under a trench coat. Like, they got everything from them. Yeah. And, so dude had this hid really well. Like that girl in the viral video I saw the other day where she's wearing these little bitty shorty shorts and the cops are all, feeling it. And then all of a sudden she has to pull out this handgun out of her coin purse that she had stashed for her boyfriend. And I'm like, dang.
Wow.
That was an impressive feat right there.
We were talking about that a little bit before the show too. That one guy's entire purpose throughout the whole movie was just to be the guy who carries the gun secretly.
He's just a hopping mule. That's it.
He's just there to
bring in the gun and then you hop around for a while.
So I guess Brian's suggesting that he I don't know, he pickled the fingers.
They look too well preserved for that. Or not well preserved enough. Sorry, other way. So similarly, maybe
he pickled them after they were in their various stages of decomposition. I don't know.
Maybe he flushed them out.
I definitely need to send this to Caitlin Doty and like ask a mortician this shit. So
100%.
I would be curious if there was any way to get that to actually work, and how bad would it stink? Like, I think at best, even if they were like dried out, I think still it would have a pretty musty beef jerky smell or something.
And he didn't even have it like in a Tupperware or anything. He had it in this like wood box with velvet lining and shit.
Has it like a humidor? Yeah.
Why? That's gross. You
Gotta
have to
keep him
change
in
the
the
line of that
perfect
so
humidity.
many times.
For the right mouthfeel.
God.
It makes him such a messed up dude. Like
Right
he's
when you think about
obviously
like his
putting
obsession
so
with
much work into it.
cigars, and then the cigar cutter, and then the finger collection, like that guy has issues really
Yeah.
bad.
And that's what I like about him as a villain, because he's not just I'm going to take your finger off so you've got to spend the rest of your life marked that you had a run in with me. Like, no, this is he's taking this for a purpose, and he's clearly got a collection, because like when he takes out Liam Neeson's character, or at least thinks he does, like he wants the Chinese guy's fingers, but he doesn't care about the other dude's fingers. And I
First of all, I'm
wonder,
pretty sure he was Japanese, which racist dude, and that
just
guy.
said
That
Asian.
biggest of this guy's
Did
flaws,
he
but
just say
absolutely.
Asian?
He did just say Asian.
No.
Okay.
Well, he said, "Take me to the
fingers up
Chinese
at-
restaurant."
But still,
That
like,
was a Chinese restaurant.
he's picking them out specifically. And I wonder
I
if
think we're thinking about two different scenes, Amanda.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's
In the
to fill
beginning.
out his collection, or if it's because Liam Neeson's hands got damaged on the electrical thing.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
they
about
wanted,
that
and that's
combined.
how they ended up thinking that Liam Neeson was dead because they found his partner's
Yeah.
parts. Yeah.
Yeah.
A small part
And they
of
didn't
his
have
ear.
DNA testing then. But yeah, he at least he took the partner's fingers after he was already dead. Like at least they didn't chop those off while he was alive.
Mm-hmm.
And he definitely didn't do it with the stupid cigar cutter because that thing was dull as fuck by that point.
He's probably expecting dude to take it off.
So many of those cigar cutters.
He probably gave everybody one just so like whoever he sends to do the job,
Like that's what he
on hand.
gave to his all of his groomsmen
is
for like a
Chad.
best man
It
thing for his wedding.
It's the epitome of cinema, if you ask me. I freaking love it.
There's a couple of like they cut away, like they did some fancy camera work in this to cut away right before the moment where you're gonna go, because
Oh, yeah.
that was where I was like, I'm not gonna look at him cutting off a man's fingers. And then there was also when Liam Neeson shoves the dude's head through the manhole, and I'm like, oh, they kept these cars zipping by, he's not gonna die, and then all of a sudden he's not that lucky anymore.
But
Apparently,
see,
they
that-
trimmed a lot of the movie, so I'm curious what gory scenes actually would have stayed in if the studio had allowed it.
Mhm.
And this
I
was
actually-
rated R movie, right?
Yeah.
I
I think so.
actually wish they trimmed a little bit more of the movie. Like I felt like the ending kind of lags a little too bit. Like there's too much like middle stuff and gimmicky stuff. Like I feel like the beginning was really strong and some of the stuff was, but I feel like it definitely lagged quite a bit in some of the scenes, like the one in the Asian restaurant or the Chinatown scene or whatever that was. Like it felt kind of unnecessary, and had very little to do with their journey and stuff. But
Yep.
yeah, it could have been cut
Well,
down.
it gives him a face off with Durant face to face, which I think the scenes in the restaurant dragged on too long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I get.
Yeah, they could have absolutely done that just after they killed the henchman by throwing him out the window,
Mhm.
and then they could have seen the henchman and then had a wait, what's going on moment instead of having that woman scream obnoxiously.
And that again, that's one of my problems with the movie, is it doesn't logically make sense for him in this Sam Raimi world where nothing really makes sense. But in this world, it doesn't make sense when you know you're on a timer to just sit down and wait on the bench for the bus or whatever.
And then be
Yeah.
surprised when his face starts melting.
He's a scientist. He is who's obsessed with time and time around the skin because he's been tracking it for like a decade now. There was zero chance he would have let the timer run out so many times.
Yeah. And I know it's more dramatic, but that just doesn't make sense. And how does Durant and them walk into the building, walk right past the guy they're looking for, and not grab Darkman instead of going upstairs to find him in his room? Like, it just doesn't make sense. I know it's a cool shot to have the lady scream at the twins, but you could have figured out a way to do that somewhere else and still get the same effect. And, it would have
Her
worked.
screaming at the twins made no sense.
Mhm.
Like she was screaming for a dead body,
Have you ever
sure.
seen twins in real life? No.
Yes.
If you did, you'd scream.
I thought that whole running down the clock thing would have been much better served as one big explosive moment of he's panicked because he's got to get out of here, but he can't get out of there when he wants to. Like it would have been a more tense, more exciting scene instead of them doing it literally every time he puts on the skin.
Yeah.
It
I
also would have
would've-
been. Go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
It would have been way more interesting if they had described it as there's a timer on how much sunlight exposure the skin could have. And so he tries to stay in the shadows, but then he does have to come out. So he would lose track of that time. And that's why it happens. That would have actually
That's
worked.
what I would do.
Yeah.
Like,
the science could have been a little more sciencey. I mean, it's
And
Sam
he-
Raimi have to be, but like
he uses that effect though.
More
Like he
basic
keeps
rules
masks
here.
and stuff in his coat at times to pull out and put on to keep that timer from running because it's in the dark. Like they
was
use it
fucking
at the
realistic
end.
mask.
They could
It was
have used
so
that effect, trying to sneak around or keep a hood up or something, and
Yes.
keep the exposure down.
I
I
feel
think
like
it
they
would have
missed
been
out on
better
that. They could've-
served if he had to go back and like put the money in the room and like had to hide as Durant was coming in, and like that could be why he was so close to the time limit, give him a reason to really set this guy up, so they go find him up there with some of the money and he keeps the rest to do his experiments or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Having him
that
just
could have
sitting
been-
in the sunlight, ticking down the clock instead of even standing in the shadows watching, just
He didn't even have a hat on.
right.
Or
What?
like,
Trying.
or like, I love that, like, like the scene in Chinatown, like he they don't get to the restaurant until like 90 minutes. Like if that's your convention, meet the guy there. Don't take a 90-minute car ride and burn up your time on the journey. Like
Yeah.
do
Don't,
your
like,
application 10 minutes
pulling
away.
on your
Right.
mask while you're in front
Right,
of the
can't get on his
minion.
own. Like that's not a normal human thing to do, bro. And you know that because
You
you
know
had
that.
normal human face for what was he at least 35 years old at that point? Like he's
Yeah,
been,
but
you
he
know,
can't feel anymore, remember? So
yeah,
But then he'd be
but
smoothing. He wouldn't be trying to pull it
yeah,
off where he couldn't
pat
tell.
it.
He'd be
Touch
patting
it,
a
that's the
lot.
yeah.
thing, he can't tell anything by feeling. So what is that gonna do?
Well, he
Like,
should have been carrying around a mirror then.
yeah,
Something. Yeah.
Like they make those little compacts for like we got them for
that would have
makeup.
made
Like,
more sense. Honestly,
Yeah.
that would have been a great convention. Like, boss, what are you doing? And he's constantly like, looking at himself because even if he had fingertips that weren't in giant fake skin gloves, he wouldn't be able to feel because he doesn't have the sensation anymore. But that's a little thing. That and the typing bothers me, that he could type so well.
Yeah.
He could
and
do
he can't feel anything.
anything when he couldn't feel anything.
Yeah.
They made a big point about how he couldn't feel anything anymore. And
A whole scene of him sobbing about his hands.
And like he
they
That-
took my hands, is what he
It was
said.
so emotional, yeah. And it was like you felt so sorry for the guy right then.
Oh no.
And then
And then
nothing
he's
happened.
typing
Nothing
with
They-
that tree root hand.
Right. Yeah. They like he had already been processing all of that trauma a little bit. Like he knew what was wrong. And
Mhm.
then it's like he just suddenly discovered that he couldn't feel his hands, but he had been feeling or not feeling his hands the whole time.
Mhm.
They should have introduced pretty much as he was like he wouldn't have been able to escape from that room. He wouldn't have been able to feel himself grasping things to escape to get down without breaking a leg or something. They
Yeah.
absolutely ignored how the body works and how physics works for how him not being able to feel his own body would work interacting with the world and how terrible it would be.
They did kind of hint a little bit. They showed a little bit when he startles his girlfriend there in the rain about like how badly he's walking and stuff. I feel like they tried to show a little bit, but not nearly as bad as it would be if you cannot feel anything. Like
Yeah.
anybody who's tried to walk on a completely numb leg
It's
Yeah.
how
scary.
hard that is to do.
He's gonna turn an ankle and fall down a shit ton.
Oh yeah. And-
there's a real disease where people can't feel pain, and they chew off their own lips like as babies because they can't feel that they're doing that. They go out and get horrible sunburns because they don't understand, like because they don't feel the pain, they don't feel the heat. So
Yep.
he would have, and he was an adult doing that stuff. Like he maybe would have been able to be a little bit more cognizant of what was going on, but also he'd spent his entire life not having to worry about that. He absolutely would have hurt himself real bad.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna.
Peace and gloves. Brian's always got the logical answer for us, though.
Well, none of the way that they put the skin on works. You don't put the skin cells on and they just glue on. You don't get them on and then just put them around the eyes and now it looks natural and not like you put on a Halloween mask. Like none of that tracked.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah,
now
but
that
this is
you
where
have to look past because it's a Sam Raimi movie. Come on.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a point here. No, yes, you. Okay, I'm gonna make a point here. This is kind of. I make this point kind of a lot, but so, like we all understand there are different genres and stuff, right? But each genre, or each movie that you do has like a genre depth chart kind of that goes along with it, right? So like if you take horror, for example, if you look at something like Silence of the Lambs, that's like grounded in reality. If you look at Psycho, is something that Hitchcock would describe as like perfect cinema, where most things kind of obey the laws of physics in the real world and stuff, but everything he uses his technical proficiency to like elevate everything and make everything feel surreal and put like dread in people's minds rather than like do something like explicitly practical. And then you have like something like Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, which is just almost like just. It's almost like a genre piece that is like so inbred from like other genre pieces that it doesn't follow any kind of laws or logic and stuff. It kind of is like a descendant. It's got more inbreeding than like the Targaryens. Like it's just like so like derivative of like other genre pieces and stuff. And I think that's kind of what you have here, which is like, I think the nice thing, I kind of saw this as like kind of like a missing link in, superhero cinema, because it doesn't really, get thrown in other superhero films. Good.
Because it's not a superhero film.
It is. I think a lot of it is
different.
Kind of riding a line there at best, because he's not really a hero. And
it's an anti-hero vigilante. I mean, it follows all the tropes. It's an origin story. It's a
hero.
Not super either. So he's got the enhanced.
He is super. He has super strength, and he has super.
No, they don't say he's got super strength. They just said he's got enhanced strength because he can no longer feel pain and his adrenaline. But it's not.
Also, I'm going to make
superhuman.
I'm going to make one more counter argument to that. If you read Blake Snyder Save the Cat, right, which is like a great book on screenwriting and stuff. He breaks all of cinema down to like 10 genres that we don't really consider as genres and stuff, and one of them is the superhero genre, which doesn't necessarily pertain to films that are just superhero movies, but movies that follow the superhero pattern or the superhero archetype of like an outsider. Something like A Beautiful Mind is kind of an example that he gives of a superhero movie. So in that regard, it is a superhero movie, at least to me. And it's kind of like a missing link where it like reminds me of, this is not like really a post-Batman movie, 89 Batman, because this was kind of conceived and produced and created in the run-up to that. Like Batman 89 hadn't blown up yet. So what I think he was basically doing was trying to make like, a kind of Silver Agey superhero story, but he kind of scaled back the technical thing, to technical elements into something that he could actually manageably make, right? It's like because at that time those movies weren't getting optioned and weren't getting made. So if you look at, like Fish says, like a lot of the DNA of Spider-Man comes from this movie. Literally the way he does the shots and the origin and the transformation and stuff. So I kind of see it as like this stepping stone, both in like Sam Raimi's career, where he, goes from being kind of like the unserious person that made Evil Dead 2 into becoming a more serious person that eventually makes The Gift in Spider-Man. And so I kind of like appreciate it for what it is there. And it's kind of a guy that I think most people would agree has like good faith within the filmmaking community. He has his own take on things, and he has his own things, and his own perspective and style. And one thing that you can at least say about this movie is there's he puts thought and logic into every shot in a way that like most other filmmakers don't. A lot of people will we'll gloss over stuff and they're unimportant scenes. They'll break down into like basic coverage and stuff. He really does try to make every shot and everything thoughtful and cohesive and stuff. So
he tries to make every shot a home run, and it's not always necessarily a home run. Like I think the transition shot of her from like standing there to being like the widow at the graveside is kind of weird, but he took a big swing. He tried something big, and I admire him for trying it.
And it's like I've seen him. He hones those into like later films and stuff. Like he's done other versions of that shot in other movies. I can't think of the ones off the top of my head, but a lot of the stuff, like for example, when he's like trying to figure out the processes and stuff, that's like how Spider-Man conceptualizes his costume and his wrestling scheme and all that stuff. So like, yeah, it to me is kind of like a guy, and it's also like, I mean, it's very like what we would. I mean, I don't know. Do we consider Swamp Thing superhero-y? I mean, to me, it's very Swamp Thingy.
No,
like the thing.
It's a monster flick.
I think Swamp Thing.
He's a superhero. He's saving the day. He's fighting the bad guys. It's more vigilante. It's as much Dirty Harry vigilante kind of thing as it is, superhero. But this is Phantom of the Opera meets The Shadow. I mean,
well, he wanted to do The Shadow, but he couldn't, so he made fan fiction, which is what this is. And so, and he like mixed in, like he was aiming for like a 1930s monster movie.
Yeah,
and so he definitely delivered like the racism and the sexism and the fundamental disregard for how reality works that you see in those movies. And just kind of went with basically no man sees like, here we have Dr. Frankenstein, but now like he becomes Frankenstein. And that seemed to be the path he was going with this one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I personally see it as more of like an outsider superhero monster type thing. I mean, that's I get your I take your point, and I sometimes when there are certain films that get a lot of credit, and I've done that before where like for example, like I'm thinking of Shape of Water, right? Like I'll see something like Shape of Water and I'll be like, oh, that's just fan fiction and whatever it is, but that's I don't know, me personally. I mean everything in a way, especially
literally what he said.
It is, and it is. I know that, and that's why I went to that example and stuff. And in some cases it is, but like I don't know. I mean, I feel like a lot of times when people do play in genres and they make original characters, they are doing their own version of fan fiction. Like, isn't Obsession just its own version of fan fiction? I mean, it's a monk. And here it is, like one of the hottest movies of the year, and it's getting all this credit for innovation. But I mean, it really is like an age-old monkey's paw story that's been done in like Tales from the Crypt and Twilight Zone and all the others. So.
Parker just
I mean,
he's too excited for this movie.
100%.
He gets jealous when I get excited, and he sees me talking to people, and he's like, "Notice me, Dad." And
I'm very interested in whatever you're saying, so it must involve him. That's pets. That's all of them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, my cat's always trying to get in here when I come in here to do the show because she's like, "Oh, there must be something cool in here." There's nothing cool in here, but she comes and sneaks in every time, and then halfway through, she's whining to get out the door.
Right. Fucking cats. So, I just noticed that we're closing in on like 55 minutes here. Like we've been talking about this for a while now.
Oh yeah.
Well, I could keep going.
Me too.
Like poor guys in the crates at the beginning. Like you're just sitting in like a 78 Chevy in a crate with the engine running for how long? Like you got a time limit before these dudes die. They can't see or hear any cues through the crate to know when to drive out. That's just bad planning.
So how did they hear him when he said get him?
He didn't. They didn't. They either timed it or it's just magic.
Or they waited till they heard gunshots.
Oh, these are inquiring minds want to know. These are answers we need.
I will say it was good that we finally got to see some cars getting shot up and they didn't explode.
And
that
not
was
exploding. I said that like when it was the first one that flipped over. I was like, oh, and now it's gonna explode, and then it didn't. I was like, oh,
right.
Oh,
Like,
and one
okay.
of my
They
favorites.
then disappoint us throughout the rest of the movie around these sorts of things, but solidly nailed it there. So that's
Can
good.
I ask? So I saw this in what was that movie about the boat, the huge boat that sinks? It's not Titanic. It's the one that has fucking Richard Dreyfuss is in it.
Poseidon Adventure.
Thank you, Poseidon Adventure. Like, why at the bottom of every elevator shaft or really tall unfinished building, why are there like rows of rebar spikes? You know, like those elevator boat spikes, right?
The end scenes of movies.
You need
Movie.
something to be in.
I mean, and then we did
Movie
like,
elevator
had
shaft.
them-
Because
and-
the 40-story fall won't kill you enough.
yeah, this is where we have to remember that that Durant is not the primary antagonist to this movie. It's the other dude.
See,
It's
and I think that's a shortcoming as well.
Boss.
Because
Yeah,
Durant
like,
makes a better villain than that dude does.
he's much better. Yeah, like we
They're
remember him. I don't even
both
remember that other
villains.
guy's name, like Strang or something. He's
I would like
I-
it much better if he was the henchman working for Durant than the other way around. Because just
Yeah.
being a spoiled rich dude is far too realistic to be an evil villain, and that just makes me sad.
seriously?
Yeah, it
So
was
you think
Strack.
you're
He
gonna
was
make
supposed to
cigar
be like
cutters?
an evil Stark.
Mhm.
You're gonna make cigar cutters that can cut human fingers off, and your response to how did they hear him give the signal is walkie-talkies. I'm disappointed, Brian.
Womp womp.
Yeah, but
Fart noise again.
I always go on the I grade on a curve thing here and all that, but I don't know. I think with this movie, like, when you spend, and this is a shitty thing to say and stuff, but like when you spend too much time like worrying about like how the script could have been better, or how logic could have been applied, I think we're missing the point, because that's not what a Sam Raimi movie, at least in this stage in his career, really was, right?
What show you're
if
on
you
here,
watch,
dude?
I'm just saying, if you watch like Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 or any of the early Sam Raimi work, that's not his charm as a storyteller. Like, he has his ideas for what he thinks are like fun character moments or fun scenes, and he creates a loosely connected story to justify those scenes.
To get to
And
those points.
it's not like, and I'm not saying that makes this a good
I'm not
movie,
saying
but
I don't do
this
the
is
same.
this is an endearing movie in that it has its own charm beyond like what would make it a good quality movie. Because like, I'm with you guys, like it's not a substantial piece of art. It's not about anything. It doesn't really say anything. It's just
I didn't say all that.
it's just a bloody
No,
good
no, no,
romp.
no.
I
You
love
three
it.
liked the movie.
I do, yeah, for what it is. I take it for and it's and also time and a place. Like, this movie is very near and dear to me from when I discovered it, and again from just having a real affinity and an affection for Sam Raimi and his other stuff.
My point for bringing up the rebar spikes was that we don't even get to see dude fall on him. Like, he falls 620 feet.
You're
He tells
showing
us
the
how
gun
hard
and
he
it
falls.
never goes off. Yeah.
And then we
that's-
don't get to see him be impaled on the elevator boat spikes. So, which is a callback
Mhm.
to Poseidon Adventure. And there's also another one that the fuck movie is that? I think it's another really shitty movie. And there's just spikes at the bottom of the fence. Like, because of course there is. They don't explain. There should be, like, they spent so much fucking time explaining to us everything in the beginning of this movie. The least they could have done is explained why those fucking spikes were there. Because it wasn't for structural integrity. 'Cause
Correct.
that's not how you build a building.
Correct.
I don't know a lot about building buildings, but I know that's not how you do it.
It was for punishing the homeless for being homeless. That's probably what they were there for.
There we go.
Well,
That
you know
makes
what?
sense.
That is depressingly accurate in my book. I can buy that,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately.
Oh man, there's so many things I love about it. The only things that really bug me are when it doesn't follow its own logic on something. And
Yes.
like, him not
Yes.
paying attention to the timer when he's watching it so closely all the other times, that bugs me. Like, I'm forcing this scene in with the girl screaming at the two of them, when I'm like, if you wanted that scene, you could have done it in better ways to to not make him irresponsible. Give it a reason that he's out of time, not just I decided to drive back across town and sit on a bus stop bench just waiting out in front of this dude's house for no reason, because this isn't where I picked up the money. This isn't where you saw me last. I traveled across town over here after already setting this up before I left, because I showed you that before I left. So
Yeah.
You know,
That was
Mm-hmm.
that 90-minute time limit, like we said before, could have been so much more impactful if they had used it wisely. And that's unfortunate that because he did right away like blow that 90 minutes doing something dumb, which he would never do.
Every time. Yeah.
Yeah. That's too bad for that part.
Yeah. The not tracking with like the point of the movie is to have a certain amount of continuity for what's happening. But the plot was not great. And the actions and dialogue that they gave the characters were so clunky and it didn't follow through. And several times like the bad guys were doing and saying things they wouldn't do or know.
Mhm.
Like deciding that his papers were at the lab when she works for wherever she works and their work
And she left
papers.
him on the bed at home. Like, how did they get mixed up with his?
There's no way they would have leapt to going to his lab to kill him for papers that they think she
Yeah.
knows about.
And
That
I'm
also
sorry,
makes
why?
her be
Yeah, why did
wildly
they kill him
incompetent as
but
a
not
lawyer.
her? Too,
Right,
like,
yeah, exactly.
been
They
after
would have
her.
gone her.
But
And
they
They
should have also
they
gone
should
after
have
him,
been
but they
going
should
to
have
her
gone after her
apartment
first.
looking for it, not
her
his
apartment.
Yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
she's a lawyer, and so the way they showed her was just terrible. Like the lawyers don't talk about cases in front of their loved ones. They don't leave
Good
papers around
lawyers
for
don't do
people
that.
to do all of that. And so yeah, they
They
of
never
course.
said she was a good lawyer. They just said she was a
Well,
lawyer.
she's one of 3 women that have any amount of screen time, and they try to make her seem sort of like a competent person, but then immediately just pivot her into being the kidnapped girlfriend,
Mhm.
who is still understanding. But it's really like the way they had them interplay, we couldn't tell how long they were dating. She seemed shocked that he wanted to marry her and was uncertain. And so it's like, this is not like the great love of each other's lives potentially, but now we're supposed to think that he's pining for her and all these things. Like they really did a disservice to the love story by kind of going down the not letting us know how long they had been together.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I mean, my first thing was when he asked her and she goes on, I was like, dude, that's a no, man. Take it as it's she's saying that she's too nice to say no. Just let
Mhm.
it be that and go. Um,
Right. And her first reaction to "You're alive," and he's like, "Yeah, but what if I had been disfigured?" was, "Well, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that's not the problem
why
because
would
you
you
aren't."
ask that? Oh,
Mhm.
let me change the subject. And just okay, we're not going to ask about that anymore. Like
Right?
that was a
Yeah.
weird thing to randomly say.
And I've
Um,
seen. I don't know if I would call Liam Neeson an amazing actor or anything. Like,
No.
fine, but this movie he was exceptionally terrible. This was his
Yes.
first main role as an action star, and like he was just. He
oh
was.
yeah, I remember thinking he was such a weird choice for an action star at the time,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and and then for him to go on and do that
Now, like,
was
put it
Colin
Is
Friel was
in.
probably the one who was worst with Strack. He just did not land that role. Every time he talked, it just did not seem
Wait,
natural
who
or
was
that he was in the scene. The evil
Oh,
boyfriend
I thought you said
Strack.
Colin Farrell, and I was like, what?
No, Colin, I guess Friel would be how
Yeah,
we would say that. But
real.
yeah, he regrettably did not pull off the sinister.
No, yeah, he might have been more memorable as a character. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
I
Well,
am impressed though. Like you mentioned earlier with the cutting away, I am really impressed with what Sam Raimi managed to pull out on a relatively low budget. Like he and a lot of camera pulling away, a lot of tricks. He probably wasted money on some shots that he didn't need to. Like you probably could have shown them going crazy without the whole world falling away behind them and stuff because that had to be an expensive shot. But maybe you could have put a little bit more money into the shots of him hanging from the helicopter and not look like quite so much him in front of a movie screen. But I'm
Yeah.
really impressed with what he pulled off in this. I think he made a really cool action packed movie for what it is,
Mhm.
and I thoroughly loved it as a kid. I still love it. And usually when I come back and look at these things, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a little fish thing that he liked, and I didn't notice how bad it was. And now, even now that I can tell how bad some parts are, like poorly made or poorly thought out, still it's a fun movie. I still have a good time watching. So
I have
I'm
fun
digging
watching it. I mean, I'm not gonna delude myself into believing it was some kind of cinematic masterpiece, but like, it's a fun watch. It is, and it's also, obviously the whole point of the show is to pick apart movies, whether or not they're good, and that's kind of like my thing, which is, hence the show.
Mhm.
But so like, I was gonna do that regardless of what movie you picked,
Mm-mm.
and
Mhm.
I like doing that about I like picking out the inconsistencies and stuff, and I did notice over the course of doing this show for the past couple of years in its current incarnation that I need to watch it more than once to really get to fuck with it, though. So I need to watch it more than once to really pick at it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to sit with it a little bit and let it like
Yep.
Let it
percolate.
marinate. Think
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The racism really did not sell me on this movie. I did not like that the first opening scene to set everything was Eddie Black, a black man who has power
But they
and wealth,
have been-
but then they switch it up so that he has like southern wording and an accent as he gets uppity and then gets punished for threatening a white man by having all of his fingers cut off. Like that. And then
And that hits a
there
little
was like,
close to home because that happened a lot.
oh yeah.
In the
Yeah.
past, in history, like, I don't want to know. I don't like. I'm horrified enough to know that it happened at all. Like, it definitely happened a lot.
And we had a few not white characters like in the background there, and then they were all
was
on the
fun.
side that lost. And then we have Hung Fat, which like J.K. Rowling probably helped name as a character who then gets bullied and robbed essentially. But then, but they're just all like the women, all of the people of color characters are just disposable and thrown away. And then it's all about the white characters doing the white
I
characters.
was like, can we talk about why the
Mhm.
assistant, whose name I cannot even remember because he was so unimportant to the plot, like, why'd he need to die? He didn't need to die. There was no reason for that. And then you take his fingers.
Mhm.
Creepy
Mhm.
fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian said talking about it with Amanda immediately after helps me be critical and affectionate. Somebody needs to watch Don't Look Up all the way through. So that theory. I'm just saying.
I still haven't seen it. Is it really that bad?
It's a good movie. It's a hard watch. I think it's a well-made movie. Hard watch.
It's one where there's no likable characters, which makes it hard for some folks, and it is a little too close to home for how reality is right now. And for anyone
That's
who's
the
really
hard
feeling
part.
it, that's definitely going to make it hard to watch.
Okay.
I mean, I watched it all the way through without a problem, but I mean, it definitely does. It is very frustratingly
It's just
realistic
never.
in a lot
Yeah.
of ways.
Yeah, it wants to frustrate you and it succeeds.
Yeah, it absolutely
yeah.
does.
I watched it and I was like, I can acknowledge that it's a good movie and also say I don't really ever want to watch it again unless society in general takes a really dramatic upturn. I don't think I want to watch it again.
Hmm.
I would have had a lot more fun
That's
watching it if we
fair.
were in a different timeline.
Yeah, like
Surely nobody's this terrible and stupid, right?
I thought when I first watched like Idiocracy, I would watch that many more times in the future,
Mhm.
but I don't have the heart to watch it now. 'Cause
Right?
it's
Yeah.
just gonna make me sad,
Yeah.
and I don't want to go through that.
I still haven't seen that one, so I'm
Yeah,
I'm
they're
worried.
they're kind of the same bookend there of maybe a little too close to home these days for folks. Fair
It's
enough.
I loved it at the time. Now, yeah, I could totally
Yeah.
see it happening now.
Unfortunate. Amanda, I had the picture ready for you. Why
Good.
did we get this picture? Let's look at the picture.
Let's talk about the gun-toting leg for a moment. And the
This
fact that
picture.
this guy leans down after they've been like basically strip searched. Somehow they missed that there was a gun in the leg. He grabs the gun, pulls it up, and it immediately starts firing full stock, not full stock, it's probably folded, but like the full clip. That would have looked differently under pants.
Mhm.
There was no moment where he jammed it and created, no. And so he just pulled the whole thing up and somehow it all works out? No. That is not how mini Uzis work or would
I-
look under pants. uh-huh.
I thought that too. I was like, maybe they cut. Maybe there was a scene that they cut for time that like have him putting the clip in the gun because I was like, there's no fucking way that would have.
But they very
like,
clearly showed him just reaching to the leg, pulling it up, out, and just using
suddenly
it
it's
right
done.
away.
Yeah.
There was no loading portion of the show. So yeah, that
I
was
find it like the clip on this picture that you have too is like it's the clip's hanging out here, but like I don't think that even think that the handle would have been in there particularly well.
No, my calf feels like an Uzi sideways. That's how mine is built. So it makes perfect sense. Bell bottoms. He was wearing bell bottoms, so you couldn't
see.
And
that's
I
the
mean,
thing. If you think through it for just a second, like you could have made a piece of his, up towards his knee that would fold down to be that clip. And that would explain it all away. That would make it work and make it look cooler where he's holding the foot and this chunk of knee. And
that's what I actually ended up looking up to try and figure out. Maybe it folded and that's what like it was supposed to be. No. There's a very nice site that shows you all the guns in a movie, and they showed off this particular bottle, and I looked it up. I'm like, nope, that's not how that works at all. Okay, all right, good to know.
Awesome.
Yeah, but I agree with Fish. That's how they should have done it. It should have been like a fold up jam kind of thing, and that would have maybe made a few gun people mad, but it still would have been more believable than what they did. And it was just another way that they kind of misused disability. Like the character was, they made a point of having the character have the leg askew, so they'd knock on it, so there'd be like Chekhov's leg gun sitting there. But then all of the other things happening just constantly refer back to basically as soon as he became disfigured, he can't be part of society. And just,
he's absolutely useless after that. He's just hopping in the corner as an announcement that somebody has a gun pointed at you somewhere. And
he's like, as a guy with one leg, he should have been much more stable on that other leg. Like I have like amputees.
If he's not hopping, you don't know he's missing a leg.
Right?
I did love the moment where his friend reached his arm out and stabilized him. That was pretty sweet.
Yes. And you would expect, I think, to everyone's point, a little more competency with having the prosthetic off, especially if that's a planned maneuver.
When I said it, but like that's my point is like he should have been able to stand still. But like, yeah, I guess if he wasn't hopping, how would we know?
Yeah,
or at least be the guy that's
it's an offensive stereotype, right?
They wanted to drive it home, just like they had the most the dog boy freak circus moment to help make our erstwhile anti-hero feel real sad for a minute. And so then I noticed every time he had an emotion that wasn't anger, they immediately needed to find a way to have him have anger, because men apparently can't have any emotion but anger, according to this movie.
Elephant.
Right? Yeah. And then
that's the thing you say. That's the thing that you say in that tone to the woman that you supposedly love and that you're fighting to get back. And then at the end of the movie, he's just like, "We can't be together." It's like, fuck you, dude, because you spent the entire goddamn movie fucking with that woman, and now you're gonna say you can't be together, you asshole.
100%, right? 100%. And it's like the movie basically kind of boils down to he needed to get therapy and is never going to. And we just see that over and over again.
He got murder therapy. He figured out by the end that he wasn't good for her, and this wasn't a good environment.
No, he turned. I'm fine with vengeance, and I'm fine with getting that portion out, but that didn't take away the, I'm disfigured, so I'm no longer allowed to be in society ableist bullshit. Instead, he doubled down on that. Well, now that I've murdered people, I'm also extra not allowed to be in society, which kind of has a PTSD allegory that basically says, if you have PTSD, then you need to hide away from the world and never like work through your trauma. And that's gross.
And it's, I mean, I guess that's what they did in the 90s, but it doesn't make it okay.
And
just-
she's sitting there saying, I still love you, even though that is not medically accurate as to how burn victims be or heal or look in any way, shape, or form.
That's what I saw. Was like, he's dead. Like, that's dead. He's
Very
dead.
dead.
You
Very
don't
dead.
just walk around with your fucking
That's
muscles hanging
the-
out and shit. I was like, at the very least, he would have skin grafts all the hell over.
They
himself.
did not give him a natural antibiotic
He left
immunity
before he had
to
time for
bacterial
that.
infections. And he was a walking bacterial infection the second he left that
Open
hospital.
wound. Yeah, like that is not how you treat that kind of like. Again, he's
That's
dead.
not his
Like,
superpower.
that- you
Well,
do not
the
survive
laying in
injury.
the sewer water, sleeping had to be good for him.
Totally
you know?
good for that. Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
care if you can't feel the water. You have to be able to find a dry spot somewhere that's higher ground.
Because not being
Open
able to feel
cardboard
cold
box.
doesn't mean that you're not going to die of hypothermia.
You're a
Yeah.
freaking scientist, for the love of God. You've
Right.
got to have
As he
more sense.
reminded himself in order to play out the, man versus monster internal struggle. I'm a scientist. I'm a scientist.
I get you
Get
feel
it
pity
together.
on yourself, but like pick a little bit higher ground. Don't sit there right next to the drain watching
There
it
was a
go. That's
perfect
just
dumpster with a lid right next to him. He could have pulled the lid over and slept in the dumpster. I know that's not ideal, but it's better
I'll
than
get
sleeping
an
in
infection
literal.
in the
foot
dumpster.
of
in the
water,
in the
Yeah,
right?
sewer
I know.
instead.
You find as much cardboard as you can. Cardboard is a great insulator. Like,
Yeah.
don't sleep in the water. That's not good.
And like,
No.
yeah, like if he somehow didn't die of those wounds, but he's definitely gonna die of hypothermia if he sleeps all night in that thing. Like, and he
Mhm.
can't feel it, so he's gonna definitely gonna die if he can't feel that he's cold.
Mhm.
His heart's just gonna stop. He's gonna go to sleep and never wake up.
And also, how is he working with all of the he has the burned hands. He can't feel them, but like the skin's going to be sloughing off. It's going to be raw meat. He's going to be putting bloody prints all over these hand masks and face masks that he's putting on. Also, as someone who is in IT, everything computer wise in that movie was a little sus. They had me in the first
when your
part.
files were done.
They had me in the first part when, well, they did have the weird ass scanner that wouldn't have done well for pulling a picture in a great way. They just then magically moved to like the hologram and then turn a thing around and you have the mask. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to go into detail about this. This is good. And then they started talking. And all of the words they used were no. And then they started using the technology and the computers more. And I'm like, no, none of those things. The
Yeah, if you
computer
wanna
that
suspend
magically-
reality.
yeah.
You gotta suspend. If you're gonna suspend reality, you can't explain anything. You have to just hand wave it in order for it. Like otherwise you're gonna pull people out, and that's what I did too. Because like some of the probably not to the degree that you did, because I'm not as big a computer nerd as you are.
Fair.
but like yeah, like that's and that scanner was literally just a plywood box. It was.
Yes.
I was like,
Oh.
yes, that's perfect, but just don't explain it.
Also,
Yeah,
I
like-
really, really need someone with a better science background than me to explain what kind of moving protozoa amoeba skin cells those were, because that was some
Right,
hinky
that-
shit.
Yeah, I was like, I thought when he was looking at it, I thought he was looking at protozoa because that's what it fucking looked like.
Then I just want to know then what is the most scientifically accurate of genre superhero stories, they're all bullshit. Like the Incredible Hulk is
Yeah.
gamma radiation, or magic and shit. It's all made up baloney and stuff. Sam Raimi, when he made this movie, he knew nothing about lawyers or scientists or any of this stuff. He just wanted
He
to
could
make
have
the
asked
genre.
one.
He could have,
Yeah,
but
that's
this was
Cost
19.
money.
You
Like
got to
Amanda
realize
said,
this
he
is
didn't know how to explain
1989.
it.
He didn't have Google. He had to go meet
There
people
were
and talk
so
to them. And
You
There-
could
that's
trip
no
over a
excuse.
lawyer in any big city. It would not be hard.
Yeah, and like Amanda said, all they had to do with the science is just not explain it. If they would have just glossed over it, then
Yes.
everybody would have been like, okay,
Yeah.
that's part of the universe.
That
Magic
would have been
exists in this
great.
world.
Instead, he has to cobble the computer back together, and now its voice is weird every time it does something, but it still manages to do it well. Sure, but also they had enough money to hire a Navy SEAL to help make sure the fight scene seemed not shit. They absolutely could have brought a couple people in here and there to just make sure a few things were not crap.
Scientists will do that shit for free just to get
100%. You
Yeah,
can't
I
stop
know, I
them.
know.
The lawyers won't. The lawyers
Lawyers won't.
They
but
want to
that's
get paid
okay.
to say hello.
Yeah, I know. I get it, guys, and it is. And look, I don't know. Maybe I've just been like around like so many like superhero movies and so much genre stuff that I'm like used to this like logic now.
No,
Like
But
I don't
there's
know.
you're
Fish.
used to it not making sense and you're okay with it. You don't mind that they break their own rules and that their world makes no
I
sense and
care
that
what
they
you care
don't
about.
have integrity. They
That's
lack
what-
integrity.
And that's fair, and I like it. I'll say this though, like, and Fish, I think will like agree with me on this because we've grown up on so many of these movies of this quality. Let's say, I love it when they do have integrity or they follow their rules and all that stuff. But I think a lot of times, especially in superhero and stuff, like as a genre, I consider that to be more of like a bonus than like a prerequisite. A lot of like most superhero movies are not grounded in much of anything. You know, most of them are at
And
best
that's
like
wrong and terrible.
morality plays and stuff. Well, depending on the story and depending on the piece, I'm inclined to agree with you. I have a long list of superhero movies, and I think a lot of them get it wrong. But I think this movie gets enough right that I appreciate it for what it is. But I also too, like I disagree with like none of what you say, like all the points that you made.
but,
In
I mean,
hindsight, when I'm like more aware of it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that name, I didn't pick up that name when they said it, or the Mr. Black thing in the beginning, like yeah, I picked that up too, but I thought it was more of like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I was giving Sam Raimi a little more good faith than I would have maybe somebody else, but I don't know. But
I equate this to more of like some kids in middle school made up a play and we're having fun watching it. I don't expect it to be well researched and historically accurate, but they're having fun and I have fun watching it. I know he's not putting a lot of thought into his lawyer, or he's throwing sciencey sounding words in so it sounds like they're doing science, so we believe they're doing science, but he knows about as much about science as Liam Neeson does. And so it all works. The one thing I want to know, speaking of script, is I just want to see a Sam Raimi script, because I have to imagine this thing was just riddled with exclamation points everywhere. Like I can just imagine just everywhere.
And to your point, Fish, like this is I also give this movie a lot of like latitude, I think, because like of where it is, like because of who Sam Raimi is and where it is like in his development. Like he was a guy that when he made Evil Dead, like he was just throwing stuff together that he thought was cool and inventive and was like the kind of movie that he wanted to make. He was, I mean, I guess I hate this word, but I guess in some way fan fiction a little bit, even though I don't like that word, but it's a guy that loved genre so much that he wanted to put his stamp on it. And I feel like this is like maybe like the third or fourth project in his filmography, and this is him just tackling another genre. And like, yeah, it would have been nice if he was a little bit more further along in his development, or if he had a like a better script to work off of and stuff. But that's not what gets Sam Raimi excited. And like, if you ever seen Sam Raimi, he's a very excited person when he gets these things going. And
but this was a script that like 20 people had their fingers in and contributed to and made changes to, and like
that's
a lot of
also
people.
The issues that it has, like that's the problem, that when you see the movies that are kind of disjointed, like that's always like the number one problem, is that there was too many cooks in the kitchen.
There were 5 screenwriters and 3 teams, and I guarantee you, like one of those teams had a more science-laden draft, and one of the drafts went through and took all the science out and left a few of the words in, and they didn't know where it was. So I think that's actually more of like a sign of like of chaos rather than like cohesion. Like
Yeah.
This was a kid from the minor leagues taking his swing in the big leagues and trying to do his best. And I think he did a pretty good job with what they gave him and the money he had to work with to make a pretty cool movie out of it. He made something that was wild and fun and memorable. Like, I mean, I don't like those scenes, at the fair with the backgrounds and stuff, but I remember them. I think about them all the time.
That one seemed like it seems like Liam Neeson's character is the one who suggested that as a date, and then I was like, but dude, that you have some serious trouble regulating your emotions. You're aware of that. Why would you go to such a chaotic place? Like,
yeah,
I can go to a fair without murdering anybody at all. I can, and like that. But if I already knew that I might have an outburst, I would not go to a fair. That's loud and bright, and there's people everywhere, and most of them suck. Like, why would he have chosen that place? Go to a quiet restaurant with candlelight. Yeah. That would have been way more. Yeah,
especially candlelight.
And
but
dark.
Take it.
Yeah, I didn't particularly care for that scene. I thought that was kind of
And it
one of the
was
most
creepy.
disjointed. It was
Way too
emotionally
many
off.
times that he zoomed in on the fucking clowns too. Like, God,
Oh, yeah.
they were not even normal clowns. They were creepy, like plastic face clowns.
That's Sam Raimi though. You got to
Yes.
zoom in on the things. You got to
And-
lots of zoom in, lots of screaming zoom ins, lots of eye close ups.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I
And
don't really know.
at the beginning when they're beating the shit out of Liam Neeson, they have the cameras inside the cabinets through which they shove his face. I was like, that one actually was pretty fun.
And that's one thing that I both like. I love about Sam Raimi, but didn't love about this movie is like he, like they talk about in film, like the rule of three, like you do something once, twice, three times to make a point of repetition and stuff. But he does things 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like 9 times, and he just goes
Yeah, he
back to it
does.
over and over again. And sometimes it plays out like a little too much and stuff. Like
Yeah.
I get what he's
Uh-huh.
doing. It's like the Ash from Evil Dead thing, but like a cut or two earlier would have served him better in a lot of those scenes.
And
And
the other thing that I saw was when he's this is just a little nitpick amongst bigger nitpicks, when he's setting up his new lab and he's trying to reconstruct his own face to make a face mask of himself, and it's gonna take 23 fucking days to do that. Like, I'm sorry, first of all, they had come out with the clone stamp like around, it was called rubber stamp back then, but it was like 1989, 1990. First of all, you had that technology. Secondly, hire a fucking artist. They could have gotten it done in a day, you dipshit. What are you doing taking 23
It was
days?
okay. In defense of the computer program, the artist wouldn't have been able to render it into the 3D model that needed to be printed. So I can
Neither would a
kind
1990s
of see that.
computer.
Yeah,
Are we
no, the
talking
1990 computer absolutely
it would
needed
have
more time to
taken
render. But
days for that
all he did
computer
is he said,
to
"Oh, wait, I need to fix these 2 sectors, and now it'll do it." And then he needed like a day
At
for it
least,
to
I was
render.
like, yeah, because he was like
It
having
It would
a complete meltdown
already have
how-
been
Oh
programmed
no,
to
no,
do
no!
that.
So,
That's
they did-
literally
if you
what
have a
it's designed to
computer that
do.
can do 3-dimensional holograms
Yes.
in real time, then you have a computer that could render that image a lot faster than
in a
that.
couple of
But
yeah,
trying
a
to
couple of
get that
minutes
image
to render a
rendered at the
couple of
time
months.
on a computer would have taken days. And
Yes.
like
Mhm.
I remember in college 3 years later, like setting like 30-second little bits of animation to render at the beginning of class and then come back and it's still not done the next day at the end of class
Right.
to be able to set anything else
Yeah.
to render.
Absolutely. So they kind of set the bar with the hologram, and to get to the hologram stage, you already know how to do all of the contouring and the math that fills in the gaps. And he had it right there in the code. He just forgot to click the checkbox basically and tell it to do it. So,
Yeah.
but he made it sound like it, like all of the muttering he did and all of the talking they did around their own project was not
And
amazing. The
you know
dialogue
what
is so
else?
fucking clunky.
Dialogue was bad. And the other thing is that I just thought of this now, which is stupid, but like he's been working on that skin thing for how many years? There's no way he didn't already have completed holograms. He had all the shit to rebuild his lab in that abandoned warehouse, which somehow had fucking electricity going to it, because that's a thing that happens in real life, right?
I
But
did after he stuck his hand in
like
it.
why?
Also, he took
yeah,
like
like, he
how many
had
photos of his the nose of his assistant. You know, both of their faces and hands were all in there, like
Yep.
saved in
And
triplicate
they
and
use that to
quadruplicate.
train their they use their own faces to train their data. If he
Yeah.
could rebuild his lab in a week like that, then he absolutely did not need 23 days to re-render his face in 3D.
No,
It's
but they needed the pathos. They needed him to have some sort
And
of
they needed to
emotional
show us-
reaction.
Yeah, like 500 and something hours. Like, and of course I googled that because I was like, it's 23 days, by the way. As I've been saying, but like
Yeah, they
had
really
to know like he was in the hospital for unspecified amount of time, and then he waited at least 23 more days to go see Julie, and yeah, it was
Okay, yeah. See, the lack of timeline was also frustrating. Again, we don't know how long they were together. We don't know how long he was out. We don't really know how long he was doing labby things before he decided to kill people. And like, okay, 23 days is kind of quick to like start quasi dating the new guy. That's a little that's a little fast. Again, maybe she was not that into him. So
But they didn't really build that relationship either. They were just like, he was just like, I know how you feel, I get it, and that was like, they didn't really build that. And then, but like suddenly they, oh yeah, we have to break this off, and I was like, you were dating? Okay.
And she's telling him, no, I love you. I don't care what you look like. Let's be together. Like trying to offer the healthy relationship olive branch. And he's like, no, I'm a monster. I must leave you.
I mean, and that's one thing that didn't ring emotionally true to me, because I'm like, I could absolutely see her doing that if she had found him in the hospital or something right after, and like, yeah, I'm willing to give this a shot, I'm willing to stay. But like, we talking like a month later and he shows up, and then you find out that he's been lying to you, and then like your whole life is risked in the high steel and all this stuff. Like, I don't know that I've been so quick to volunteer, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Run away,
let's
Julie.
make this
Run
work, crazy man
away.
who lives in an abandoned factory and smells
Abandoned
like rotten
factory,
bones.
who's shown himself to be violent in front of you and kind of to you and
all
is
around you.
and all around
Mhm.
you. And yes, fighting off the bad guys, because apparently you have really shit tasting guys that you kind of want to date. But still, it's not a good sign. It's not a good sign. You got to really think about that, not just insta, yes, of course, I'll stand by my man.
Mhm.
Yeah. Although Stand By My Man is very much a thing that has been drilled into women's brains over the millennia.
Thanks to movies like this and
Yeah,
other media. Yes.
it's not a good message, but at least it's a
Consistent one.
yes, it's not an unusual message. We're not going like, what the fuck? Nobody's ever done that. Like, no, that's very much a
Yeah.
thing.
No. All of the themes and tropes and things that we're talking about are like they're in a lot of the movies to help reinforce them in society. It's a self-enforcing mechanism. Yeah.
Oh well.
Yep. So I absolutely did not have time to write the quiz, but what I'd like to do is write the quiz now that we've had a lovely chat about all the details, and I can post it into the social medias and then have you all answer there and see if we can't actually get a little engagement on the social medias tied to our go for once. See how it goes.
Sounds fantastic.
Sounds good. Hey, maybe it'll be a better idea than playing the quiz at the end of the show. Let's see.
Oh, doubtful. We have way too much fun with that. Also, did you draw a sticker?
I didn't draw a sticker yet. I was actually talking to Fish about that earlier. I am super behind on my stickers because of the internet drama of 2026 here. So I'm going to catch up on that, but I have a really good idea
What is
for
it?
Darkman. So and Fish thinks it's a good idea too, so it's a good idea.
That's
I
good.
actually
Fish
saw
loves
a poster for Darkman 2, and I was like, he's got this pose, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. And we just had to make his head like 5 times bigger than it already is, and then it's a chibi, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna work on that, and I gotta catch up on all of them. I feel like we need to like take a week off so that I can catch up on my stickers, and then we'll be good. But also next week I think is Primate with
Primate.
Kevin again.
After all that, I was going to say, show of hands, who's going to go back for Darkman 2?
Oh
I
yeah, I probably
100% will watch it.
Yeah.
I like.
I'm gonna watch it.
I
Yeah.
think Darkman 2 is much better than Darkman 1.
Oh,
except
wow.
I like Liam Neeson a little bit better in it, but I like Darkman 2 better, personally. I think it was a cooler movie. Of course, that's also really influenced by High School Fishy, so you may feel different than he did. But I've
Do
always...
they get
honestly
better with the dialogue and the plot and the acting and all the other things that a
Don't
movie
get
might
crazy.
need to have?
Well, I may not take as hard a look at like the science of it as you do. But,
I look at all at the science, not just a hard look, just at all.
I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and so yeah, I'm absolutely gonna go back and watch it again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you do
I
with
have
the ones
not
you like.
seen it. I'm
Mhm.
definitely gonna go watch it again. I enjoyed watching this one. Like, I had fun watching this one. I'm definitely gonna go watch the second one, especially since I saw, like I said, I saw a Darkman 2 poster, and I was like, oh, look at who's back, who's supposed to be dead. I thought that was a relatively new phenomenon, but nope, they've been doing that one for years.
Mhm.
I have to admit that I kind of thought, Fish, you would pick this kind of the way Kevin did with here I found the worst movie I can, let's have some fun here. And So I'm glad to find that you all found many more things that you enjoyed about it. That is great. The I was perhaps less impressed though. Yes. Yes. Also, I don't actually know who Sam Raimi is in any meaningful way. So that contribute. I think there's some like celebrity aura that you all contribute to it. The
Oh no,
other movies, the Army of Darkness, terrible.
oh,
Absolutely
see,
terrible.
I love
So
the Evil Dead, Army of Darkness.
yeah,
I
yeah.
wasn't the biggest fan of Spider-Man. Like the fact that Raimi did it was the thing that I liked least about the original Spider-Man movies,
Oh,
and why I
Which
like all the other ones more.
actor movie set is that? You guys just keep
Tobey
saying Spider-Man. There
Maguire.
was like 20 of them.
Yeah.
Okay, Tobey Maguire. Okay, I kind of recall those. It's been ages.
Yeah, it's because Raimi's always a little bit over the top in everything, and that's the part that I don't like about those Spider-Mans. I like the other ones being a hair more grounded for a kid that gets bit by a radioactive spider, gets superpowers. They're a little more grounded than that one, but I do like all the other stuff that he did because it's weird and it's wild, and I like the chances and the swings he takes at things. Like if you can't afford to make the monster in the woods, you use the camera as the monster in the woods and pull it through real fast and low and move it all over the place and let it be that monster's point of view instead. And that was way scarier than seeing whatever monster they could have made out of trash bags and latex.
We have 100% commented on that before. Not showing is very frequently more effective.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely
100%.
scarier. Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's done right. It's way scarier than
Done
showing.
right. Yes.
That's why Boba Fett is everybody's favorite character from the original movies
Mhm.
because he
Not
doesn't
wrong.
say hardly anything. So you get to use your imagination to build who he is, and your imagination makes him the coolest dude in the world, and
Absolutely.
whatever that is. And yeah, as soon as you give him a whole lot of lines, he becomes less cool.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I said next week is Primate again. Kevin Davis. Kevin likes this movie, so we'll see. I don't know.
Sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, like sorry in advance probably because like yeah. But he did not like Scream 7 and he does like Primate, so and then we're like gonna ban him from picking movies for the rest of the year probably because he can't be trusted.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian gets to do the quiz for Primate, so that ought to be interesting.
Nice.
And yeah, and I don't know what I'm gonna do for a sticker, or even if I'll be able to get a sticker done in time, because I keep thinking I can't start the sticker for the next week until I get the other stickers done, so I just keep falling further and further behind. So that's maybe I should do that. I'll watch Primate right away and then get the sticker done immediately, and then I can start working on the backlog because I have like
Should I make a little chart where we just like have a box and the movie title and we'll start putting the stickers over it so you can have a visual for how many are left and how many have been done?
I actually have something sort of like that with my Illustrator file. I have, and like I just have an empty box here for each one, and the layers named after the movie that it's supposed to be. So yeah, I keep looking at it, going, okay, I'm one step closer. I'm one step closer. And you know, and I've been spending way too much time on Sparkle Rat because Sparkle Rat's got to be good.
Sparkle Rat does need to be good. Is it going to be a Were Rat or just Sparkle Rat?
Think about Were Rat. Oh, now I got to start over again. Shit. I mean, we didn't get to the Were anything yet, so there's no Were Rats yet.
Well, even just the vampire fangs on it.
Oh yeah, no, there's definitely going to be fangs on it. Like I did put the fangs on there already.
Oh, okay, then yeah.
Silly because there's no fangs in these movies. They don't have fangs. They just have really sharp regular teeth. In Twilight, I don't know.
You can take a little artistic license there. Besides, a little sparkling red drop of blood on the fang is going to look nice next to the diamonds on the skin.
Oh yeah, and ooh. Yeah, so oops, yeah. So I think we touched on everything. Go check out Roll for Hero and go check out it's Vagabond, right? That was the name of it.
Vagabond Nowhere Man.
Yeah, I put the links in the chat so like they should be in YouTube and on Facebook, and go follow the pre-launch for Tailwinds, and just if you go to Kickstarter and type in Tailwinds, because I'm stupid and I didn't put it in there. I'm forgetful. There it is. That's the launch. That thing that you're going to see go by one time. But yeah, go follow that. And did we have anything else we wanted to mention before we go?
I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Then everybody have a wonderful rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week to watch probably another interesting movie. And until then, have a good week. Bye.
Bye.